Hi guys, how are you today? Everyone's good? Everyone's phones are away, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're gonna get into our dough for our condensed milk bread. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what you need to do. So first we're gonna have our parchment paper, we're gonna flour it, and I'm gonna grab the dough for you guys. So everybody could see what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Beautiful. So we're not gonna put too much flour, just enough to coat the dough. And we're also going to coat our rolling pins. So for your dough and for your kitchens, do you guys know what mise en place is? Yes?
When you have everything ready, like to go.
Yes, so he said it's when you have everything ready to go. So I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. If you guys are making brownies, you guys make brownies at home? Yeah. So if you're making brownies at home and you go to look at the ingredients and you're pulling everything out, you get the brownie mixture, then you see that you need eggs, you need oil. What happens if you're out of eggs? Can you do your recipe? No. So your mise en place is making sure that you have everything that you need for your ingredients, your recipe, and all your measuring tools for what you're going to bake or cook that day, correct? Okay. So let me grab this dough. I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna roll it out. We're not gonna wanna play with the dough too much because we don't wanna over-activate the yeast. That's super important. So I'm gonna put it down for you guys. So even before I start going into this, we're gonna make sure that our baking tins are fully brushed. Why are we gonna fully brush the baking tins with butter?
So the bread doesn't stick to it.
So the bread doesn't stick to it, correct. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you get all on the sides and every crevice of your baking tin. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright, so I'm gonna begin rolling out the dough. I put some flour on top of it. I'm gonna put a little bit more. And why am I putting flour on the rolling pin?
So the dough doesn't stick to the rolling pin.
Yes, so the dough doesn't stick to the rolling pin. So when you guys are in your kitchen, sometimes if you could have someone else hold down your parchment paper because it moves a lot. So you're gonna wanna roll it out thin, but not too thin. Because we wanna make sure that the dough is going to cook all the way through. All right, can everyone see what the dough looks like? All right, beautiful. So then I'm gonna begin to roll this and we're gonna try and make it into a log. And then you guys are gonna use your hands. You see how it's like a tube?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna press in the ends. And we are going to slice our condensed milk bread into 6 or 7 equal parts. Why are we cutting it into 6 or 7 equal parts?
Evenly baking.
So what?
We can evenly cut.
It can evenly cook, yeah. And then also when we were watching the demonstration video of the condensed milk bread, what were they doing after it was baked?
So you could pull it apart.
You could pull it apart, correct. So I'm also gonna brush the top of it with butter after I cut it. All right. So after I have it all cut, I'm going to put it into my baking tin and I'm going to brush the top with butter. After I'm done doing that, what are we going to do to our bread? So Does anyone else know?
In the oven?
No, we're gonna do something else for it. We're gonna allow this bread to rise twice, right?
Yeah.
So why do we want to let this bread rise twice?
So it's nice and fluffy.
So it's nice and fluffy, yes. So right after I'm done doing this, I'm gonna cover it with saran wrap, and I'm gonna put it somewhere that is
Cold. Warm.
warm. All right, beautiful. So does everybody feel like they know what they're doing at their stations?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So if you guys want to come over and get your dough, you guys are going to do exactly what I just did over here. And you guys can come grab your dough from your stations. Make sure you guys wash your hands when you first get into your kitchens, okay? Ladies, you guys, after you're done washing your hands, you're gonna wrap this up, okay? Okay. You guys will have what you need at your station. You guys know what you need. You need your parchment paper, right? What else do you need?
Dough cutter.
Yeah, dough cutter. What else? Flour,
The brush.
brush,
Butter?
butter. I don't know which one's out.
Rolling pin.
Yeah,
The rolling pin and the bread cutter, right? Beautiful. And you guys all have your recipes at your stations, right? Right by the microwave? Yes.
Miss Kaufman, where's the flour and butter?
You also don't have
The flour and butter.
Yeah.
So he has the flour here. I'm gonna pass around the melted butter for you guys.
Can someone get me the one?
And you guys need your bread hook, right?
Angela?
Alright, did you guys grab your dough? Or not yet? You guys can come grab your dough.
How do you know it's not done?
That's what needs to be done. This one, honey. There we go. Yep. Make sure you don't play with your dough too much because you don't want to activate the dough. Make sure you put flour on it.
You want a dough cutter?
You don't have a dough cutter? I'll give you one.
Yeah, we don't have a big dough cutter either.
Okay. I'm gonna grab you guys dough cutters.
Thank you, Miss Kaufman.
Make sure you're putting your dough that's finished on the oven. You want it in a hot place. Alright guys? Do you guys all hear what I'm saying? After your dough's done, where are we putting it? On the oven. In a hot place, right? And that's going to allow the dough to rise. Perfect. You have a dough cutter?
We have a dough cutter.
You guys need dough cutter? Make sure that you guys are clean cleaning as you guys are going along, okay? Alright guys, if you want to come grab your bread tin for your kitchen, no problem. You got it. And what are we doing to the bread tins?
Buttering.
Buttering it, yes. You guys are going to melt some butter. Oh, you're gonna butter it as you go, okay? We're gonna give you guys the butter. And the next thing you're gonna go to the next thing now, okay?
What can I do if you want to put out?
And you guys have to brush your tin with butter, right?
We don't have butter.
You don't have butter? We'll get you some butter.
Alright, over here. Oh, we can use this stuff? Yeah, I was asking that earlier.
Alright, you wanna brush it?
Yeah, I'll brush it, yeah.
Make sure you melt your butter, okay? You're gonna put it in the microwave.
Put in the microwave.
Okay.
That was,
And you're gonna wanna cover it before you put it in.
What?
Make sure you cover it with a paper towel. Perfect.
I missed the last two, but it's fine.
So how many slices is this? 8? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you guys got the sides of this as well?
Yeah.
Alright. So you guys are
You
gonna put it.
in.
Make sure you push the last 2 together because I don't know if it's all gonna fit in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are
Push them a
gonna
little
brush the top of it. Make sure you brush the top of it with butter. And then you guys brush the tin, right?
It flipped.
Brush all the sides.
Okay. On this way. Big
Alright.
pieces of bread. Whatever.
And then what are you gonna do
Okay,
about
let's
it? You're
figure
gonna wrap it.
Oh yeah.
Three saran wrap, and then where are we putting it?
On the oven.
On the oven. And why are we doing that again?
Because it's warm and it activates the heat.
And it activates the yeast. You guys should turn the ovens on if they aren't on. I think some of them are, but if they're not at your kitchens, make sure that your ovens are on, okay? Make sure your oven's on, okay? It's off right now.
I'm watching them.
For your bread, you guys are gonna tape it, okay? So that the saran wrap stays on, because you don't want any air to get inside. Make sure you guys write on the tape your kitchen number and your class color. Your class color is green. Make sure you guys are actively cleaning at your stations, okay? I'm going to be going around to check your kitchens to make sure all your sinks are clean, all your countertops are clean, your ovens are clean. There should be no flour. Yeah, you can just empty out the flour, and we're gonna keep the parchment paper. Do you guys have any questions about what we're doing for? Yeah, that's good. Do you guys have any questions about what's happening right now?
No.
Okay. And you guys know that tomorrow we'll be baking it, right?
Yeah.
After you guys are done cleaning, you're gonna set up your stations for the next class so that they have everything in its place. What was that called again? Your starts with an M?
Missing balls.
Yes, mise place. Exactly. So make sure you got a new parchment paper out. Make sure that they have their rolling pin. You have the butter brush. You have a glass bowl for the butter. You have the bread cutter. And then after you guys are done, you're going to come take a seat. Are you guys excited to make the dough tomorrow and bake it? Yeah. Yeah? Alright, everybody should be finishing up in their kitchen. We're gonna leave them almost on top. And then after, we're going to start to go over my PowerPoint slide for you guys about our recipes that we made yesterday and all the dough, okay? For condensed milk bread. Let's see. These kitchens are clean. They're all set up for the next class. We're just waiting for 2 more kitchens. Alright, is everybody ready? Great job, guys. You did really good.
Thank you.
No problem. Alright, we're going to go over this condensed milk bread PowerPoint slide. So everyone pay attention to the slide. I'm going to ask you guys some questions. Alright. So, how do we activate our yeast? So we've done a bunch of dough recipes before. So in this specific recipe, we did alter one thing when we were activating our yeast. Does anybody remember what that was? Angela?
Milk instead of water.
Yep, milk instead of water. So we did our milk, sugar, and then what else?
Butter.
No,
Yeast.
the yeast. Exactly. So how do we use this bread at home? How would you guys eat this bread at home? What would you eat it with? Would you butter it? Yeah, you put butter on it. Is there anything else you would add to it? It's a very sweet bread, right? going to be?
Syrup.
Syrup? Yeah, syrup. So what can we make with this bread?
French toast.
French toast. Yes, we can make French toast with this bread. So we can add syrup to it. We can also add Nutella. Would anybody like cinnamon sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah? Does that sound good to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah? Alright. So this was our recipe. So these were all of our ingredients within our recipe. And the most important part about this recipe right here is, why do you think it's important to have the yield for your recipes? Why do we need to know the yield?
So you know how much you're making?
So you know how much you're making, yeah. So like, let's say we want to make 4 loaves of this condensed milk bread. This recipe has a yield for 1 loaf bread. So if we wanted to make a recipe for 4, what would we do with the ingredients and our measurements?
Times them all by 4.
Yes, times them all by 4, correct. So these were our instructions for day 1. This is when we made our dough yesterday. So we did the condensed milk, we did the sugar and the yeast, we activated the yeast. And how long does it take for the yeast to activate? Yes? 10 minutes, yes. And when do you know that the yeast is activated? When it bubbles and it looks frothy, correct. So then, we kneaded the dough yesterday and we allowed it to have its first rise. So I did that for you guys, I kneaded the dough. And then today we're gonna allow it to rise again. So why are we gonna do 2 rises?
So it's nice and like fluffy.
Yeah, so it's nice and fluffy. So this is our day 2. So this was today. So we punched the air out of the dough. And then we made that rectangular log. And with that rectangular log, we cut it up into 7 different slices. And why did we do that?
So we can pull it apart.
Yeah, so we can pull it apart. So when it's fully baked, we're going to be able to pull it apart. We're going to get a fluffy bread. All right, and then we're going to allow this dough to rise again for the next 45 minutes. So this is going to be for tomorrow. So everyone has a heads up on what's going to be happening tomorrow. So we're going to make our egg wash. So the egg wash is what we're going to brush onto our bread. So we're going to take 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of milk, and we are going to preheat our ovens. Why is it important to preheat our ovens? So it rises, yeah, right away. And also, so that way it's consistent with the degrees of the oven, because if you have it in all different degrees, then it's not gonna bake all the way through sometimes, right? All right. So then after we bake this for 20 to 22 minutes, we can add our glaze. So it's gonna be some butter and some condensed milk that we can brush right onto our condensed milk bread. And then we can add additional butter if you guys want. Does that sound good to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah? You guys are gonna enjoy this. And then I have some questions for you guys about the recipe. So, how could this recipe be altered for those with a gluten allergy? Do you think someone who is allergic to gluten could enjoy this recipe?
No.
No? Well, is there an ingredient that we can substitute?
Could change the flour.
And what would we change the flour to?
Gluten-free flour.
Gluten-free flour, or we could do a whole wheat flour, right?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. So what about people who are lactose intolerant or lactose free?
You can swap the milk for water.
Okay, swap the milk for water.
And we
Tristan,
can also replace the butter.
replace the butter. Okay. So they actually make condensed milk oat milk. So they take out the moisture from the oat milk and then they add sugar to it, and that's what condensed milk is, right?
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, we also, what if you're diabetic? Do you think that someone who's diabetic could enjoy this recipe?
No.
No. What do you think would be the issue for them? The sugar, yes. So they actually have a substitute for it that we could use, which is a brand, Nua Nutrition. It's sugar-free condensed milk. So that is a really good substitute for people who are diabetic. And then we have substitutes for people who are lactose intolerant and or have a gluten allergy. So these are really important because more times than not, there are people who have one of these three things, right? Does anybody know someone who is allergic to gluten? Yeah? Does anybody know someone who is lactose intolerant? Yes? Yeah? And does anyone know anyone who's a diabetic, possibly? Yeah. So that's why this is so important to go over, because you want these people to enjoy these recipes as well, right?
Does it taste the same?
It tastes similar. There are going to be some differences, but for the most part, yes, it's going to taste the same. So does anybody know what condensed milk is? No? That's okay. So our condensed milk, that's when they take out 60% of its moisture, and then we're going to add sugar to it. And that's why it's so smooth and silky. So why is it important to let the dough rise twice?
So it's nice and fluffy.
So it's nice and fluffy. And once the dough is all baked and all done, what's another thing that we could do with our bread? We can make French toast, yeah. Alright, so this is gonna be our taste evaluation for tomorrow. Are you guys all up to date on what we're gonna be doing tomorrow when we come in?
Yes.
Alright, beautiful. Awesome. You guys did a great job today.
Thank you.